What's up everyone, this is Scott with Team 512 and I'm back with another video. Today I'm installing an interior mod that I've wanted to do since I bought the car a few months ago. Red seatbelts. Now if you're a fan of the channel, it's no surprise to you that I like red accents inside of my cars. I've got a ton of videos of some of the red accents that I've done to my C5 Corvette. And of course, I just recently installed red rev match paddles inside of the C7. Now it's time for another subtle, not so subtle mod to the C7 Grand Sport. So I've already done the passenger side and I'm not gonna show you what it looks like until we're all finished. But if you're planning on doing this mod, please watch the entire video because I can save you some headaches when installing these seatbelts. Because I did one side already, I've got some tips and tricks to share with you guys to make the job a lot easier. I'm also going to go through the tools that you're going to need to get the job done. In fact, let's do that right now. So here's everything you're going to need to replace the seatbelts. Now keep in mind, 2014 to 2017 seatbelts are different than the 2018 and 2019. I'm going to leave the part numbers below for both the passenger side and driver side 2014 to 2017 coupes. And of course the convertibles are also different. So if you're going to order new seatbelts, make sure you pay careful attention to the model year. You're also going to need some plastic trim tools. Please do not try to do this job without them. Screwdrivers and metal blades are definitely going to scratch up the interior of your car. You're also going to need a torque wrench, your favorite ratchet, 10mm socket, a T40, a T50, and an 18mm socket. So if you are the type of person that has a fear of popping off interior panels because you're afraid you're going to snap some clips and damage the interior of your car, stop now, don't even attempt this job, and let somebody else handle it because there is a lot of popping, snapping, and cracking going on here. And it's a little nerve-wracking to be honest with you. But with that said, if you take your time and you're patient, you should have no problems doing this job. And remember, all of these interior trim panels are replaceable. You can buy new ones if you damage them too much, but they aren't cheap. So please be very, very careful. And again, plastic pry tools are gonna be your best friend here. So the first piece of trim that comes off is this small cover here that is surrounding the latch for your roof. And what I did is pulled with my thumb so you can create some space back here to get a trim tool in and begin to pry. And there you go. Now I had to put some pretty good pressure on there to pull it free, and you can see right here, there's 2 clips at the top and 2 clips down here at the bottom. And now this area is open, and put this somewhere where it will not get scratched. So the next thing that needs to get removed is this cover here. And you can use a variety of different trim tools to try to get behind there and work it free. I found this one with the hook on the end of it works really well. And I got these trim tools at Harbor Freight. I think it was like $8 for the set. And here we have the T40 fastener. And put that out of the way. Now this whole trim piece is ready to come off. But before you start yanking on it, there is a slide clip back here. If you pull hard enough, you might get the clip out. You pull too hard and you might break the slide that's attached to the back of this trim panel right here. So my advice is to carefully start popping out the clips starting back here. Get your trim tool behind, clear enough space to get your hand in there. There you go. See that? Got my fingers back there and I got one of the clips off. Now there are several clips holding this on. there's another one. So what I like to do is work all of those clips loose, because again, there's a slide right in this area here. Now, another tip is to move the seat up all the way and out of the way. Different pry tools that are going to help you clear some space. There's another firm pop. There you go. Now, most, if not all of the clips are popped off. But again, there's that slide that you don't want to break. I can see it, right? It's actually right here. See it slide? See how that slides? You can get a tool down in there and pop the clip off. Okay, I want to show you guys what I'm talking about. Right down in here, you see that yellow clip? There's actually a slide on the back of this trim panel that allows you to slide the trim panel out. Now, if you're careful enough, you can get a trim tool down in there and pop it out of the body of the car instead of sliding it, which is what we're going to do now because it's almost out. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, I'm really trying to get good angles for you guys so you can see this. There you go. Because I wish somebody would have had a video for me to look at to help me through this. Now, let me turn this over. All right, so here are the yellow slide clips. There's one there and one there. They can actually slide out of the sliders here, or you can carefully pry them out of the bodywork here. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other clips, standard clips, and 2 slide clips. So note where they are located so that when you pry to take yours off, you can reach in the appropriate area and start pulling. Okay, now you're gonna wanna take your roof off, obviously, make the job a lot easier. And the next step is to take the halo piece off, and you can see I already have some of it off. There's no secret trick to it. You just get the trim tool in there and start prying down so you can get some fingers inside, and then you carefully pull down. And it should come out just like that. So the next panel to come out is the B-pillar panel. But before we do that, we're going to disconnect the seat belt from the seat. So in order to disconnect the seat belt from the seat, there is a 10mm fastener behind this cover plate. And this tool here seemed to work really well on the passenger side. And there you go, there's the cover plate. And again, it's just this trim tool here, but it's like a wedge. Now we just remove the 10mm fastener. And there is some red Loctite on there, so it may require some effort. Then to remove the seatbelt, goes down and out. You can see there's this little clasp here. Then we'll just feed it through the seat and carefully let it lay there. All right, so you're gonna pull the weather stripping away so that you can get a trim tool in there and access the panel. Start at a corner and work your way around. And again, this is not for the faint of heart. Just make sure you get close to where the fastener is. That way you don't break them. If you get to an area where it just feels like there's a lot of resistance, like right there, what I would recommend doing is starting in a new spot here, like this. Get your trim tool in. And like I said, this is not for the faint of heart. There we go. Starting to get some movement there. And we are out. Now you can see the seat belt. Okay, now that the panel is loose, you can see here's the seat belt. And here is the trim panel here. What you need to do is carefully remove this trim panel and feed the entire piece back through. Now that trim piece that goes around the seatbelt has a couple clips you can see here that hold it in place. I'm not going to be able to do this with one hand. I don't think, without breaking something. So hang on, guys. All right, so this piece pulled out pretty easily. Your new seatbelt is going to come with this already on, but you still want to be careful and just feed the whole thing back through the hole so you can now get the seatbelt out and put this panel somewhere safe. All right, you guys, this is the point in the video where my audio crapped out on me when I was filming. But have no fear, because I am here to finish out the video and voice over the rest of the install of the seatbelts. And the audio does come back in at the very end when I'm closing out the video and showing you the final product. I'm telling you, I was a little freaked out about all the popping and cracking when you're pulling those interior pieces off. But come on, let's get back to why you're here. All right, so there's the seatbelt hanger and the seatbelt. There's the trim panel that you do not need to remove. It goes all the way down to the rocker panel there. On the passenger side, I removed that whole panel, but you do not have to do that. So I'm going to save you some stress there. And you can see it's flexible. And I'm going to actually come around to the other side, and I will show you that all you need to do in order to reach the hanger bolt is to bend down the plastic, and you can access that bolt there. All right, so I got a T50 on the end of the impact driver, and we're just going to go ahead and zip the hanger bolt out. Just be careful not to scratch up your seats when you're moving the impact driver out of the car. All right, so we've got the 18mm nut down below on the seatbelt, and we'll just do the same thing. You can see the plastic flex back a little bit. I'm using the hand ratchet in order to loosen it, and it's on there pretty snug. So when you put it back on, you actually tighten it to 40 to 50 Newton meters, which is about 35-36 foot-pounds of torque. So yeah, now I'm just going to zip it off with the impact driver, and we should be good to go. Now just be careful not to drop the nut down too far behind that trim panel, or you're going to have to fish it out with a magnet. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and fish the rest of the seatbelt, including that little interior trim surround piece, back through the slot there. And you can bend it down. Don't be afraid. Again, that's really flexible plastic. All right, so I pulled the seatbelt away from the body of the car. There's a little plastic pin that holds the seatbelt to the body of the car. And then, of course, there's this electrical connector here. And all you need to do is you need to pry it up. There you go. You can see it there. Pry it up with a small screwdriver and then give it a wiggle and pull it out from the seatbelt. All right, so once you get that wire out or that connector out, you can remove the seatbelt, and there we go. Now it's time to reverse the process. So we've got the red seatbelt in our hand. The first thing we want to do here is put the seatbelt back in place, because you don't have a lot of wire to work with on that connector. So you want to set it back in place. And you'll notice again, there's a little plastic pin that pushes in. There you go. It just pushed in to the body of the car. All right, now we can go ahead and put the 18mm nut back on and put a dab of blue Loctite on the bolt for the hanger. And you can see there was already some Loctite on there. Then I'm just using the T50 socket just to help me work that bolt in straight. And then we begin to just pass the seatbelt back through the slot along with the interior trim piece. All right, we are going to just zip this bolt down. Obviously, we're not going to torque it yet. And now we're going to torque it. 40 to 50 Newton meters. And there we go. All right, so we also need to torque the bottom nut to the same 40 to 50 Newton meters, and then just begin passing the seatbelt and that small trim piece back through the B-pillar trim, and carefully replace the B-pillar trim, and just go around and try to pop in one of those clips at a time, and then don't forget to work the weather strip back around the outside of the trim panel. All right, then we're going to put the small 10mm bolt back into the seatbelt where it attaches to the seat, and we're also going to torque that down to about 5 foot-pounds. There we go. Snap the cover back on, and the cover actually slides down in first before you squeeze it shut, and there's a nice click. Then the halo trim piece goes back on, and that's just a matter of getting it in place and giving it a few whacks in order to connect the connectors. And then we're going to do the same here with the lower trim panel piece. So again, we're just really reversing the process. Nothing special going on here. Put the cover back on, and you'll notice those red seat belts in the background. Very cool. We'll put our T40 fastener back in that holds the D-ring in place. And you don't need to over tighten this thing. There's no torque spec on it. Just get it good and tight, nice and snug, and then pop the cover back on. All right, so I just got the car all buttoned up and ready to go, and it looks awesome. You guys ready for the big reveal? In 3, 2, 1. All right, you guys, how does it look? It's the first time I'm sitting down in the car with the red seatbelts, and I can't wait to watch this back and see what they look like. Leave me some comments. Let me know right now if you think they look good. Feels about the same as the old seatbelt, and it's locking up just fine. So I guess that's a good thing. We've got the red rev match paddles, and now we've got the red seatbelts. So if you guys are going to tackle this job at home, please take your time, make sure you have the right tools, and follow some of the tips and tricks I put in this video. That'll do it. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button, smash the like button, and leave me some comments. You guys know I love interacting with people who love cars and Corvettes just as much as I do. Till next time, see ya.